Hello everyone, this is Nilakshi Joshi, research scholar from Tokyo, Japan, and I work in the field of computer engineering. This is my subject specific environmental awareness video for 4 weeks international FDP on environment and sustainability course conducted by UNESCO and University of Nora Govica, Slovenia in collaboration with D.Y. Patil College of Engineering, Akudi. My subject is Sustainable Software Development for Environment and Sustainability, and my instrument is software. Week 1, my topic for discussion was Sustainable Software Development using Agile methodology. The direct and indirect impact of software development on the environment was discussed in brief. The development of sustainable software using Agile development methodology will be helpful. Also, the use of direct, indirect, and common metrics to evaluate the sustainable software is an important factor that in the success of sustainable software development. It also evaluates the direct, indirect impact of sustainable software development on the environment. The two major impact of software development on environment are emission of greenhouse gases and power consumption. The emission of CO2 by data center, which consists of hardware and software, is huge, and this is calculated by calculating the power consumption of hardware that is executing a particular software. And to provide a solution for this problem, I intend to design and develop sustainable software using agile methodology which will reduce this carbon footprint and energy consumption with less turnaround time, low cost and quick business adaptation. And also I would like to develop sustainable software development metrics for measuring this emission. Now, why sustainable software development? If we see, an organization which is delivering a software is always interested to have a long-term happy customer with all these components, and sustainable software can satisfy this. Let us define sustainable software. It is the software whose direct and indirect negative result impacts on economy, society, human being and environment. Why select Agile software development methodology? Because it is iterative and adaptive, and it focuses on workable solutions over documents and procedures. Some of the most widely used Agile software development models are Scrum, Lean, Extreme Programming, and Feature Driven Development. As measurement is an integral part of software engineering, I have designed some sustainable software development metrics which are categorized into directly related metrics, indirectly related metrics, and common criteria as shown. In week 2, the topic for discussion was standards to assess the impact of sustainable software development using agile methodology on the environment. The various standards that are applicable for the measurement of sustainable software were analyzed and presented, and the IBM case study was discussed in brief. The software product should be designed to adopt efficient algorithm so that it will be able to reduce the direct carbon footprint of the software and the indirect effect of sustainability. And the solution for this is to list and relate different standards identified to support the measurement of sustainable software metrics. Some of the international standards related to software engineering are ISO, IEC and ITU, and their subcategories are as shown in the diagram. These are some of the international standards related to sustainable software. IBM has kept a target for reduction in energy consumption, CO2 emission and e-waste management in accordance with ISO 14001. IBM has innovated its MMT robot for generation of heat map and diagnosis of trouble spot and energy efficiency at data center. IBM has provided cognitive building solutions such as cloud-based analytics software for identification of anomalies to issue priority on work order processing. It also is using energy and utility solutions that provides weather-driven business solutions to enable enterprise make better decisions based on weather data. After learning through video, student will identify the impact of software development on the environment and sustainability, design and develop sustainable software to reduce the carbon footprint and energy consumption, design sustainable software development metrics for sustainable software, analyze and identify different standards for the measurement of sustainable software, and design a framework for calculating carbon footprint and sustainability of the sustainable software. This is a list of standards that are applicable to sustainable software. First is ITUT L.1410, which provides the methodology for environmental life cycle assessment of information and communication technology, goods, networks and services. Here I am considering software as a service and using the guidelines for CO2 emission and power consumption. Second, GHG Protocol Product Lifecycle Accounting and Reporting Standard, which provides guidance and accounting method for the calculation of GHG and emission of ICT services. Again, software being a ICT service, these guidelines will be helpful for calculation of CO2 emission and power consumption. The third being ISO 14000 and 2015, which is an environmental management system with requirements and guidelines of use, which will be used throughout the life cycle of the sustainable software, and it will provide the CO2 emission and power consumption guidelines. The fourth standard, ISO/IEC 9126 Software Quality Model, is responsible for measuring functionality, reliability, usability, efficiency, maintainability, and portability of a sustainable software product. Fifth standard, ISO/IEC 25010, is a square, the system and software quality model, which can measure functional stability, performance efficiency, compatibility, usability, reliability, security, and maintainability of sustainable software as it is a product and it can deliver a certain quality. The simplest method for life cycle assessment of software is simple allocation method. As you see here, there are 4 softwares with 4 different complexity values, and depending on their complexity and development effort for this software, the carbon emission is divided as per this percentage among these 4 software. As software 1 is having complexity 1, its carbon emission value is 12.5, and accordingly this will contribute to 100% CO2 emission of these 4 softwares in data center. In this example, we will take CPU utilization as a measure for carbon emission calculation. Here are 2 softwares running on the same system with their duration and average processing time. The energy consumption for both the applications that I discussed in the previous slide is calculated as per the formula given here. And based on this energy consumption of these 2 applications, the total CO2 emission is 0.015. Here, the energy consumption of the application is calculated based on the idle and max utilization value. And based on this application's energy consumption, the CO2 emission per day is coming out to be 0.01. Here, the carbon emission is calculated based on the use stage emission of the software which is running on a specified hardware. The use stage emission of video conferencing software that is running on a hardware is calculated, and the carbon emission for this video conferencing software is coming out to be 2.21 per day. Now let us see the carbon emission calculation with virtual machine. With the device utilization, the size and the number of virtual machines, and the device's dynamic power range collected, the virtual machine power consumption can be calculated as shown here. Let us see how to calculate the carbon emission of a web server which is running on 3 virtual machines. Based on the previous formula which is discussed in the previous slide, the total CO2 emission of web server per day is 2.87. This is a snapshot of an internal ERP system server and its virtual machine details and its power consumption. Power consumption of internal ERP system server is calculated as shown here. Based on this value, the total CO2 emission of ERP system server per day is 1.96. Let us calculate the power consumption of isolated virtual machine based on the formula given in the slide. With the power consumption of isolated virtual machine, the CO2 emission of isolated virtual machine per day is 0.984. Till now, we saw different softwares with their power consumption and CO2 emission calculation. This slide shows the total CO2 emission with the selected list of softwares. I would like to bring it to your notice that this can be compared with the CO2 emission of data center which I discussed in the very first week, and the CO2 emission values based on the power consumptions are significant and needs immediate attention of software developers. Now that we have understood the importance of CO2 emission and need to take care of power consumption during software development, we should focus on developing sustainable software with good quality. But what is the standard which will decide the quality of the sustainable software? As discussed in week 2, ISO/IEC 9126 and ISO/IEC 25010 standard with their parameters can be used to measure the sustainability of the developed software. This can be achieved by determining and improving the quality by reducing the effort to maintain the code, make more analysis and research, and simplify reproducibility of outcome over time. What if any organization doesn't have any predefined sustainability standard and would like to measure the product sustainability? So, to solve this, the framework shown here in this diagram will help them. The procedure to measure product quality concentrates on matrix threshold and questionnaire designed by the quality team. This will give meaningful insight of sustainability measurement of the predefined software. These are some of the software product quality matrices defined by ISO/IEC 25010 for the measurement of product quality. Let us look into the 8 software product quality matrices one by one in detail. First being the functional stability, which focuses on functional completeness, functional correctness, and functional appropriateness. Second is performance efficiency, which takes into account time behavior, resource utilization, and capacity. Third is compatibility, which is related to coexistence and interoperability. The fourth is the most useful software product quality matrix, that is usability, which concentrates on appropriateness, recognizability, learnability, operability, user error protection, user interface aesthetics, and accessibility. Next is reliability, which concentrates on maturity, availability, fault tolerance, and recoverability. The sixth one being security concentrates on confidentiality, non-repudiation, accountability, and authenticity. The seventh is maintainability, which takes into account modularity, reusability, analyzability, and testability. The last is portability, which takes into account adaptability, installability, and replaceability. Now you all will wonder why I am talking about all these parameters, as they are very difficult to achieve all of them in one product. But it is the responsibility of the software quality team to decide the threshold for every parameter or every software product quality matrix that I have discussed here, and decide the threshold for software product quality. And I am very confident to say this, that these quality matrices will help to maintain the sustainability of the sustainable software. My concluding remark match with Ralph Johnson, which says, before software can be reusable, it has first to be usable. I want my students to design and develop software which are usable and then can be made reusable. These are my references for making this video. Thank you.